the background against which this work that Roy has done has occurred. The mail art stuff, postal art. And so I'll talk a little bit about that. What?
Can you take that wine, please?
Yeah.
Now the paper's going to be up. I have to explain how remarkable this was, that this happened. I've got these archives and files of stuff that I've been accumulating by corresponding with various people for the last 30 plus years. And, all right. Is Dave Roberts out there?
David, just keep track of Dave Roberts is not here.
And I just started, so I've got these sort of personal archives of various things that I've been getting sent to me from around the world because I was sending a lot of stuff. And the years go by, do a little less of it, or it becomes more relationship based, and it wasn't just sort of throwing things out to the wind the way I was when I first started doing that. And within, a few paragraphs of meeting Roy and us talking, we were both sort of amazed that we both had the same file cabinets and archives and had been doing the same thing and live on the same block in this little town. So we could both name names of people that we had been in touch with. Powell Fatas and Ron Spiegelman and Carlo Pittori, John Hell, and a lot of people who were doing this stuff. I think largely back in the 70s there was a big boom of this work. So it's against that sort of adds another element of personalizing this all for me. The mail art stuff, which again, I don't know how many of you have heard of it or knew anything about this as anything, but and I'm not an expert in it, but I know what I like. I've sent stuff a lot, and I would get the name of somebody, I'd send things off, and there'd be these little shows, and this was all happening before I got involved in the 70s. At the time I was painting, and this felt like a nice sort of adjunct to that. And I think that most people who were doing things, mail art was a sort of adjunct to something else. It wasn't that they decided I'm going to be a mail artist. They were photographers, painters, writers, and it just became an outlet, and it became a network, and it became a sort of alternate way of getting work around, though it was a sort of fragmented little bit of their work outside of the gallery outlets. And this is pre-internet. In a way, this is sort of the internet in analog form, the acoustic internet. People just sort of sending things around in a way now that the internet allows. And you can have a website with pictures, any little odd thing that somebody thinks up, collecting, bags that carrots come in, or like marking things in little books. All this stuff now is up to see on the internet. And in a way, I was just thinking about this today. This kind of is its own version of that. It's a networking system, and I can't speak completely for Roy about this, but for me, I found that as time went on, meaning a decade and then another decade, my tendency to just send cards off to every address where something could be sent to, I was doing less of that, but the people that sort of remained standing after the dust settled for me were people that I then had some sort of more meaningful connection with. I know some of these people now. I know, what they do, where they live, what their families are. Some of them have died, and I assume that there's an element of that for Roy as well. You can see it in these. It's really about the correspondence that's attached to each one of these works. So I wanted to just say a little bit of background about the mail art stuff. The other thing was there's a completely, again, I suppose like the internet, there's a sort of democratizing of the leveling of the playing field. You could just sort of send stuff off, and anybody could do it. And So you'd get stuff from, there would be school projects routinely where they'd get addresses of people who were doing mail art stuff, and I'd get somebody or other seventh grade classes sending these, and you'd get these little collages or something, and they'd want something back. And so there was just sort of, the entry points were just there for anybody, and there was something really exciting about that you could just have access to it. I mean, for me, I could send a goofy thing off to Bob and Ray and have them respond. And I thought, well, this works.
Oh,
Oh, everybody's going, hold it then.